What is up, everybody? This is Rebecca Johnson of Supergirl Radio. We're going to get started here officially in a little bit, but I'm getting the stream started here. So if anybody wants to hop in, they can do that. We are going to be discussing Supergirl number 39 from the run that started with DC Rebirth back in the day, started in 2016. It is now 2024. We're finally catching up on this. We had to we had to finish and wrap up the TV series on the CW. And so we had to get through all of that before we could then hop back into Rebirth. And then we got distracted about other things like my adventures with Superman and the Tomorrowverse. So we are playing a little bit of catch up here. And we're going to try to wrap this up. We only have a couple more issues, and maybe we'll be finished. I don't know. We'll see. So it looks like Morgan is there. Are you good to go? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. Yes. I started the stream as if I had never done this before. So that felt right. I was like, but I did notice in StreamYard now, they have a thing where you can set an intro and an outro clip.
Ooh.
Very helpful. I feel like for me, at least.
Nice.
So that's quite nice.
I'm dealing with a new ring light situation because Bunsen finally did it. He accomplished the impossible dream. He knocked my ring light off of the desk. It fell and it shattered.
No.
Because my ring light for some reason had like a mirror in the middle of the ring light. I don't know what that was for. It was a little distracting where I was like, why am I looking at myself? But so when he knocked it over, the mirror broke and shattered. So then I had to buy a new ring light, which I am test driving for the first time. This time it like clips on. It clips onto my laptop. So in theory, Bunsen should be unable to destroy it. We don't know.
Was he chasing himself? Do you think he saw another cat?
He was rubbing his body very aggressively against it, and it was the little legs were just not up to it, and it just wobbled over and fell off. And I was like, "No, Bunsen!"
That feels like a Beaker move.
It does feel like a Beaker, but Bunsen is like he likes a nice light.
Yeah, he likes the light.
He likes a nice sunbeam. It felt sunbeam adjacent to him, I think.
Oh no. Well, he has been trying to do that for quite some time.
It's been on his to-do list. It's been on his bucket list to break that ring light, and he finally accomplished it. So in that way, I am proud of him.
Did he do it while you were recording? Were you doing the Legendary Ladies?
We're doing Legendary Ladies. At some point during our last episode, you'll notice that my lighting just gets a lot dimmer, and that's the point where Bunsen knocked off the ring light, and I was like, oh, it's okay, I have carpets, I'm sure it's fine. And then as soon as I was done recording, I like went to pick it up, and I was like, oh, it's not fine.
I haven't watched the latest episode yet, but now I feel like I need to go. Did it make a sound? Did it shatter?
No, it didn't make a loud sound. Like it just kind of clonked down. So I thought it was fine. And I was like, I've got carpets, so it's like it's probably okay. And he's knocked it over before. But this was just its last hurrah, I guess. I was like, oh, I guess I can't use that anymore. And then I went to go just try to like repurchase it on Amazon, but turns out they just don't make it anymore. So okay, Amazon. So then I just bought my replacement one, but there's so many buttons here I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, you can play with the different temperatures, I think.
Different temperatures,
warm, cold.
I can make it brighter, I can make it dimmer. I'm like, I don't know what's the right lighting.
Do you want to test it out and see?
I think I'm okay.
Yeah. Do you want to gauge the interest of the audience? See what works. Take some live feedback from the audience.
In the audio only podcast, there's just 5 minutes of me going, how about now? How about now?
That is why we don't include this portion of the live stream in the podcast. It's not relevant to audio.
I think it's always the most exciting stuff we've got.
We should do. This is actually, I feel like, let me know your thoughts, but I think that would be kind of a good episode to just package up
just a bunch of
the live stream.
What
And
you've
make it
been
an
missing.
and make it an episode.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, I might consider this as like a Christmas episode or something. It's like
Yes.
I'll have to figure out what to call that. But yes, I like that idea. Maybe at some point. All right, it's unfortunate that that didn't happen during Supergirl Radio because then I could have
know.
used. I'm always looking for a reason to use that.
And the cats have given multiple reasons. I was like, every time he would like rub himself against it and almost knock it over. I've caught the thing multiple times. While we've been recording. I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, are you gonna you're trying to destroy it? And finally, he did it. He finally destroyed it. Mission accomplished. I knew he could do it.
It was in him all along. All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your ring light. R.I.P.
Me too.
But it looks like we're okay to go. So if you are ready to go to talk about Supergirl number 39, I guess we will go ahead and get started. And I'm going to try this new intro button, see if it works.
Ooh.
I don't think it does. Why is it there?
I was so excited about it. I was like, yeah.
Why is it? So, all right. So this is just a complaint. You can insert, like you can make an intro video, but then like if you click on it, nothing happens. What is the whole point of that? Okay, I'm going to have to complain to StreamYard about this. That didn't make any sense. All right, well, I'm going to use my usual buttons, and we're going to go ahead and get started talking about Supergirl number 39.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom. Because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Welcome to Supergirl Radio Rebirth, your source for Supergirl comics that started with DC Rebirth. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Morgan Glennon.
And for this episode of the podcast, we are live and wired to discuss and review Supergirl number 39, which is a story titled I'm the Bad Guy Part 3. There's 3 parts of this. I don't know if there's a Part 4 yet, but there's definitely a Part 3. This was written by Jody Hauser with art by Rachel Stott. Chris Peter was the colorist. Tom Napolitano was the letterer. Kevin McGuire and FCO Placencia did the cover. Derek Chu did the variant cover. Brittany Holzer was the editor, and Jamie S. Rich was the group editor. So we've got all of the credits for this issue ready to go. And since we don't have any news for this week, a little slow news week here as we go into the Thanksgiving holiday. So not a lot going on Supergirl wise, although we probably should maybe next time around, I'll bring up some casting news for the Superman movie that could be relevant. I don't think we've covered it yet. I think we're behind on this one. So maybe I'll try to get that prepped for next time. But in terms of Supergirl news, we don't have anything this week. So let's just dive into the issue that we are going to discuss, which is Supergirl number 39. And for the live stream folks here, I'm going to pull up the cover art so you can see which issue we are looking at and discussing. The description for this issue reads, quote, after the lasso of truth reveals something unexpected about Supergirl's infection, Wonder Woman is quickly running out of ways to try to bring Kara back peacefully. Making matters worse, the government has sent robotic military backup to Smallville to deal with the possible atomic threat of infected Supergirl, and neither Wonder Woman nor Supergirl is prepared for the innocent casualties this could mean for the town, unquote. So lots happening in this issue. A lot of action beats, a lot of Supergirl fighting Wonder Woman. for sure. And definitely the government is involved in this. Government is skeptical of what Supergirl's been doing. She's been recorded and on social media saying some stuff, and they're not quite happy about that, justifiably so. But what I thought was interesting is that they were unsure if this was actually Supergirl or not.
Yeah, they were like, I mean, she says she's Supergirl, but did you look at that makeup? It's not very super, is it? I like that they're like, she says she's Supergirl, but like her look is really off. I don't know about the spikes. It's not Hot Topic Supergirl.
Yeah, they need to confirm that this is actually the Girl of Steel that they know and I guess love at some point. Before we get into the story of this one, I wanted to check in on the editor notes situation with your trade versus my one issues. So there were a couple of editor notes in this one.
No, I had no editor's notes in my entire issue. But that's cool. Why would I need to know about where I could find more information? It's so far in the future and I'm reading the trade. So
yeah, so there was a note to check out Superman number 18, which I don't think I did. So maybe next time around I'll look into Superman number 18 to see what that was about. And then there was also another note where Leviathan was brought up randomly. I kind of forgot Leviathan was a thing in this.
Yes, when I saw that panel about like we're dealing with Leviathan, and Leviathan's all like in my trade it is bolded, but there's no star next to it because again there's no editor's note. But I did laugh at like he says with everything going on right now with Leviathan, and I was like, what?
What is going on?
What is going on with Leviathan? Why will we never know? What is it about Leviathan? Where like they start a story and they're just like, you know what? Nah.
Well, we would know what was going on with Leviathan if we saw Event Leviathan.
I guess
Brittany
we would.
tells us to read Event Leviathan.
Thanks, Brittany. Where?
What I like about these editors' notes now is they're not even specific. They're just like, go read that whole title. Just go read the thing. We don't even have specific notes for you. Just read it all.
Just kind of take it in. Oh, what is Event Leviathan? Where can I find that? Just see it. Brittany. It's like, it drives me crazy. It's like there's no additional information. So now you're like, if I'm interested in that, what I now have to do is go down a Google rabbit hole of Event Leviathan, like whatever year it might have been. And maybe I'll pull up a couple of different things. Maybe I'll read the wrong one. I'll be like, this isn't it. An editor note in that will lead me to a different thing. Like, why don't they want to make this easy for me?
Do you think that's the strategy, that maybe you like keep buying an issue, but like you keep buying the wrong one, but you're buying comics?
But
like,
you're buying they're like, listen, we decided that our strategy is confusion. We're going to confuse them into buying a bunch of comics so that they can understand the story. But guess what? Joke's on them. They'll never understand because we're not finishing Leviathan.
Nobody ever finishes Leviathan.
What if Event Leviathan doesn't even exist? So they're just hoping you accidentally buy a bunch of the wrong comics. And like, that's the joke about Leviathan, is like, it's not even real, you guys. The Supergirl TV writers learned that like halfway through the story. They're like, what? What do you mean you've never actually done a Leviathan comic? And they're like, find one. I feel like this is like I'm going down a DC conspiracy rabbit hole that Leviathan isn't real.
So in that case, the end of season 5, really faithful to the comic book
very
source
faithful,
material.
Very faithful to my experience every time I read about Leviathan. It's just like, what is it? Who is in charge? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
We'll never know, and you specifically, Morgan, will never know.
I would would love it if there was a Leviathan comic book title and like it had a cover, but then you open it up and there's just nothing on the page.
No, even better. You open it up, it's just an editor's note telling you to buy something different.
To buy another comic book that doesn't exist.
You buy the whole trade, and as you flip, you notice every page is just a different edit. There's no graphics on it. Every page is just an editor's note telling you to buy something different. It's like the Drink More Ovaltine of comic books.
Is that almost like a choose your own adventure?
Yes. What
if you could do a choose your own adventure with editors?
That'd be incredible. I feel like that's kind of my experience with them so far.
Can we invent that genre where it's just choose your own editor's notes?
Yes, exactly. Want to know more about this?
You're not gonna.
Google Leviathan. What? Brittany.
Unhelpful. Okay, well, I just wanted to follow up on the editor's note situation to see if it had improved at any time.
I like that as we get deeper into this run, the end of this run, we're just discovering more and more that like the trade just took out all the editor's notes, and we're like, they'll be fine. I wonder if that means. I kind of wonder if that means if they like put this trade together at the end of the run, and they were just like, yeah, we never go anywhere with that. So let's take out the editor. Let's not confuse them more. Let's take out the editor's notes. Like, is this a sign that like none of this is ever going anywhere?
I mean, I guess we'll find out by the time,
or we won't.
In the chat, New Rachel has a comment about Leviathan saying, we'll always be mad that there was no connection between Leviathan and Brainiac. I really thought that was where they were going in season 5. There was also a Brainiac thing in this run. Do you remember? There was like a Brainiac thing in the fortress.
I guess we're never going back to that. Wasn't it left on kind of like he's doing something?
Like he was like trying to find another body or something?
Yeah. Did we ever circle back? Is he still doing that?
We have not heard from Brainiac.
Is he on like the body version of Pet Finder where he's like, not that one though. No.
He's still working on it.
Like on Tinder where he's like, no, this is not the body I want. He's like just swiping left on everybody. Or right. I don't remember which way is the good way. I think he's swiping the way that he's like, no, not for me. Not for me. And then maybe we'll check back up with him at the end of the run. He'll be like, look at my new body.
He got it figured out. He chose the one he wanted. Yeah. New Rachel makes a good point that was something that they were sort of going for on the show as well. And then nothing kind of really happened. And Brainiac 5 did get mixed up in that whole story with Lex. But it didn't seem to go totally anywhere.
I also saw Mind the Gap says, from what I understand, Leviathan may have been a Brian Michael Bendis plot, and I think he may have been leaving at this point, which might explain why Leviathan was like, oh my God, you have to watch out for Leviathan. And then as we go through the run, it's just like being mentioned like less and less, and you're like, I mean, we're going to get back to the Leviathan thing, right?
Nobody else wanted to pick up Leviathan after Brian Michael Bendis left?
I guess not. I guess people were like, nah, now we don't have to do that homework.
I almost want to make it my life's work now to write the definitive Leviathan storyline.
We're like, we got it. We've been thinking about this for so long. We've been thinking about how to solve this mystery.
We really cracked the code on the story for Leviathan.
Bring back pencil skirt.
I think we should write it. Nobody else is gonna.
It can't be worse than what we've gotten so far. That's the thing.
I think we should work on something and pitch it to DC and be like take it or leave it.
The people
You're probably gonna leave it.
The people they cry out for Leviathan.
The people have demanded it.
They want some answers. You can't just send them on another editor's note into a maze of DC comics that they're never getting out of.
Oh man, Leviathan is still truly a mystery.
I thought when we finally got to the comics, like now they'll have the space and like not no budget restraints to be able to tell the juicy Leviathan story they've always been meaning to tell, and yet here we are again.
Nothing. It's really just been infected Supergirl, and she's not really that evil. That's kind of been the main story for a couple of issues now, which is fine, but it's
cool.
like, but it's no answers to Leviathan.
It's certainly not. We're not getting those. I'm giving up on it. We're not getting those answers.
Just have your own headcanon what that answer is, and let that be your story. I will say that this issue, this is kind of going in another direction. This issue had, I feel like this is my personal thought on this, the saddest panel in all of comic book history, which is,
oh my God, so sad.
This panel of Krypto flying away from Supergirl, who basically, like, Supergirl's like, if you don't want to be here, if you don't want to be loyal to me, just leave. And Krypto's like flying away.
It was so brutal. I was like, that is uncool to Krypto. Justice for Krypto. He looks so sad too. He's like, okay.
So sad. She says, I don't need you or Cal or anybody. And if you're doing, if all you're doing to, oh, sorry, I got to make this bigger. My old eyes can't see it. She says, and if you're going to, and if all you're going to do is betray me, then just leave. And then Krypto flies off. So was Krypto going to betray her?
I think Krypto was like, listen, I am not on your side vis-a-vis infecting all of Smallville. And I guess this is what you consider betrayal. So I guess I should leave. But you know what? Good on Krypto to be like, listen, you don't talk to me that way. Not me, Krypto, your most loyal pup. And if you're going to speak to me that way, I am reclaiming my peace and I'm leaving.
Really stood his ground.
Really stood your ground. Have self-respect like Krypto. What an inspiration.
So Supergirl has really pushed all of her people away, including the most loyal dog in
even
the Superman
Krypto
family.
You know things are dark when it's like Krypto has had enough of your stuff.
Yeah, Krypto has given up on you.
Krypto's like, fine.
I don't want to hang around with somebody who doesn't want me here. So Krypto has abandoned Supergirl because she basically told him to leave, essentially. So what do you think about Supergirl at this point? It seemed like she was making a breakthrough with the lasso of truth. Diana, Wonder Woman, had gotten her, had sort of captured her with the lasso of truth, and it seemed like Kara was coming back. Morgan, what are your thoughts on how this transpires?
Yeah, I had like a lot of questions about what was happening, honestly, because at the end of the last the episode, but at the end of the last issue, she got lassoed with the lasso of truth. It looked like she was kind of like coming back to a Kara, like the dialogue boxes that were like the evil infected dialogue boxes where it's like, ooh, spooky Halloween. It went back to like normal typeface, and I was like, Kara's coming back. The kiss makeup kind of disappeared. She's still, gray, which is not great. But the kiss makeup was gone. So I was like, okay, like what's happening? And it seemed like as soon as she, got out of the lasso of truth, all the kiss makeup came back. So I was just kind of wondering, was the lasso of truth the thing that was bringing Kara back out? Was it because Wonder Woman was like holding on to it? Like, what are the rules here? Why would the lasso of truth bring her back? Was it like because it was making her be truthful about her true nature, perhaps?
Or was it bringing out her true self?
Ooh, maybe I could see that. Yeah, I feel like I wanted to kind of dive into like what does the lasso of truth do in these situations?
I think it traditionally makes you it compels you to tell the truth.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I guess it can bring out the truth in some ways. I guess in a more general term. But it looks like once Supergirl breaks free of the lasso of truth, she's able to get out of it. from Wonder Woman's control. And so when the lasso of truth goes away, she becomes infected Supergirl again. So I don't know what the next step in this situation is. How do they next achieve trying to get Kara to come back to her true Supergirl self? The lasso of truth worked, but it was a temporary solution. So I don't know what the next goal is for that.
Yeah, it looked like the lasso of truth was working, but like long term, I'm not sure what. I mean, I guess maybe they would have Wonder Woman would have been able to like reach Kara and like get Kara to do something, but it seemed like as soon as the lasso of truth was off of her, she went right back to the infection. So I was like, it felt like a short term solution, even when it was actually working.
Yeah, so I don't know where they're going to go from here because now Supergirl, the infected Supergirl, has had to deal with a lot of kryptonite that has been thrown her way because the government hasn't taken too kindly to Supergirl going around talking to people about the world burning and everything that they know being reduced to dust in space. That could be a concern for Homeland Security or
Yeah, not
government
great.
protection of the people. And so their solution is, hey, we've got Lex Luthor technology. Let's use some of his Lexo suits and go after this potential Supergirl. They're not quite sold on the idea that this is actually Supergirl yet, but they decide to go after her. And so they hit her with a bunch of kryptonite, I guess they had laying around. And so Supergirl now has also had to deal with that as well. So Supergirl and Wonder Woman are both fighting these Lex Luthor suits. So this section of the issue I had some questions about towards the end. So they go through this whole thing where they're fighting these robots. And Supergirl actually, I think we've talked the last couple of episodes of Supergirl Radio about how infected Supergirl is not a great villain.
No,
because she still sees herself as a hero, and she's got to save some people.
She's got to save some people, but like evilly.
Yeah. So, in the midst of this fight against the robots, she does hear some people call out for help. And she does go save some people from a fire. They don't look super happy that she's there or that she's saving them, although there is a little girl that says, "Thank you, super lady." But they're not quite sold that she is going to be a hero for them. But she does, to her credit, save people's lives in this fire, I think it is. But at the end, though, and Morgan, I might need your help figuring this out.
Yeah.
She saves the people from the fire, but then I think she gets hit with kryptonite again from one of the Lexo suit robots, and Wonder Woman's like fighting him off and everything. And then at the end, Supergirl, I guess, becomes like more infected. Has she become like a Supergirl who laughs at the end of this? What is your take on that?
That's what it seems like. That was sort of my take on it, was that the sort of semi-infected Supergirl, who is still like, I'm evil, but like, first let's get you guys out of the burning building. And then you're going to be part of my evil plan. I'm going to win you over. I'm going to kill you with kindness. But like not actually kill you, because we want you all to live. Right? We love infections. And so and like even the like girl in the beanie, who I think she was mean with to in the last issue, was just like
that was the one I think she tried to infect.
Yes, that was right.
And Wonder Woman kind of swoops in and saves her.
And so that girl, who's obviously the most anti-infected Supergirl, was like, you know what? She's kind of a bro. I mean, I do not want to die in this fire.
But she had a choice.
She's really like winning over hearts and minds. She's like, great. Everyone's going to be like, infect me. And it's going to be incredible. But then she gets hit by like the kryptonite beam. And for some reason, I don't know why this would be the case, but I guess it's just superhero magic. The kryptonite beam turns her into, I guess, like a full infected, like a Batman who laughs, only now it's like a Supergirl who laughs, because she gets like another gnarly makeover, and now she kind of looks like the creepy little girl from The Ring.
She does, actually, yes.
Like she should be crawling out of a TV set or something.
No eyes, just hair covering the eyes.
The hairs, the
Yeah.
the Hot Topic spikes have gotten bigger,
Yeah, way
more
spikier.
impractical. Yeah, way spikier. Her skirt got all torn up, it looks like, too. So I guess that's not great. She's really sort of done a little bit of a makeover on herself to look much scarier. And also now she's got the like ha 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 text above her head, which seems like a bad sign.
That seems more like a Joker situation. Also, I think we shouldn't leave this hanging. Look at her fingernails.
Oh wow, they're so long.
Yeah.
They're so long. Wow. Amazing that they grew so long so quickly. I guess that was the kryptonite exposure. It was like, radiation does crazy stuff.
So I don't know why exposed radiation to her would cause her to transform, but I guess we can go, it's comic book logic. Maybe we can kind of just go with it. Now, I suppose we're supposed to believe that she has gone full-blown Supergirl who laughs, and this is a much more serious thing. I guess, like the title suggests, she is the bad guy. So I don't know if this is going to make her a better villain.
Maybe like maybe this time she'd be like, I guess they all die in that barn.
Yeah.
Not my problem. I need to shine my spikes. I need to go to the nail salon and get these all tricked out.
She's gonna have to do something with those nails.
It's gonna be really hard to type now.
And play the guitar. Might be a little
She's gonna have all kinds of difficulties now. But yeah, I think what we're supposed to take is that like whatever shred of Kara that was like in there that wasn't fully infected, it like that's gone now. Now she's fully infected and she's like fully a bad guy, which I mean, she seemed pretty bad before, but she's lost the kiss makeup and now she looks like Cousin It. So that's scarier, you know?
Well, it is kind of scarier that you can't see her eyes, because the eyes are the window to the soul, as people say. And so if you can't see her soul,
what's she thinking in there?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Does she have a soul even if you can't see the windows to the soul?
Twist.
Yeah. So that does make it a little scarier for me, to be honest.
I had a question, which is that really early in the issue, when the government agents are talking about this, they say, if the so-called superheroes are too busy to manage one of their own, then we will handle the problem by whatever means necessary. And it's like, oh, that's scary. But then when they pop on the scene, the superheroes are managing it themselves because Wonder Woman is there, and she has Supergirl sort of under some amount of control, and they still attack anyway. So I just want to point out that like they're not even really following their own internal logic there. That they're like, well, I mean, we got all these suits out. Like, what are we supposed to not use them?
I mean, they went through all that trouble.
They're like, I'm not doing the paperwork, and then we didn't even get her.
We have to justify the reason that we took these out.
Do you want to talk to accounting about this? I don't.
Yeah. Government doing things responsibly or like financially responsible, economically responsible. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I think this is actually kind of true to life, that they would abuse resources for no good reason. And to your point, Wonder Woman kind of had it handled. She was
entirely in hand, but she was on the scene, which is what they were like, if they won't do it, we'll do it. It's like, but they were doing it.
Yeah.
is the thing.
And Wonder Woman kind of had made I think she made the most progress out of all of them. Superman really couldn't do anything. Batman definitely, like, Supergirl was not happy to see Batman. But Wonder Woman was making some progress. So
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
think
they should have just let her keep trying.
I feel like Wonder Woman was like even close to reaching even the infected Supergirl who's like, no, the infection's gonna help everybody. And she's like, will it? Like I think if Diana had like a couple of more minutes to fight with infected Supergirl, she might have been like, you really hurt Crypto's feelings.
That was
Infected
uncool.
Supergirl would have been like, does he want an infection? I feel bad about that actually. Should I go talk to him? But then after that infection.
Well, I think the government was very proud of the fact that they talk
They're
about how they had,
Lexos dudes.
yeah, they had technology that was confiscated during Lex Luthor's arrests, and they had it at their disposal. So I think they really just wanted to take these suits for a spin. I think
like,
they
"We've
just
got
wanted
'em."
to see what was going on with these suits.
They've got them. This is a perfect opportunity to use them.
Yeah, they've been wanting to do something with them for a while now.
I like that Wonder Woman was like, oh no. She sees them in the sky. She's like, oh, this isn't going to go well.
I have questions about where they have the kryptonite, but I guess if they have Lexo suits, I guess they
somewhere
probably
in
have kryptonite somewhere.
So Mind the Gap has maybe a spoiler.
Okay.
I'm scared about it. Okay. So I guess it's not a spoiler. These have been out for a very long time. Mind the Gap says maybe a spoiler, but I don't think the infected storyline resolves itself in this series, but some other Dark Knight's death metal series.
Is this related to an editor's note? Do we need to go to another series to find out what? Maybe when we get there, we'll get a note on where to go.
Well, maybe you'll get a note.
I will.
I won't. We've established that. What if that's just like the only note I get is like it ends on like a cliffhanger and the note is like, see other thing. And you're like, you're not gonna fix it here? You're not gonna resolve it here?
I mean, this is the Supergirl trade. I feel like it should be resolved.
She's just gonna pop back up being like, la la la. Next issue.
Well, if that is the case, if we need to go to a dark, what is it? Dark metal, dark
Knight's death
metal. If we have to go to the Dark Knight's death metal, I guess we have to go to the Dark Knight's death metal.
We could do that. Is the thing. I will give you another.
What if that's where the answers to Leviathan are?
Oh my God! What if we find out everything we wanted to know and more? I will give a slight spoiler because again, I have the trade, so I can just do a page flip.
Okay.
But the next issue does have like evil Supergirl in it, and it says, "I'm the bad guy." Finale.
Oh, okay. So this is the end of the I'm the bad guy story.
Presumably, there will be some sort of finale to the Supergirl portion of it. One would hope in the Supergirl book. That's not guaranteed. I'm not
always.
We're not making promises here. Maybe there's not.
All right. So is that Supergirl number 40? That is
Supergirl number 40.
Okay. All right. So we'll get there. I think it's like I think the run ends at like 42, 43, maybe.
I think so.
I think we're real close.
We're within like 3 or 4 of the end of the run.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye out for any kind of continuation if we need to follow to another title. Maybe we consider doing that. But yeah, we are close to the end of at least this portion of the I'm the bad guy storyline. Morgan, is there anything else you wanted to discuss about this story?
I was just really upset about the Crypto thing. Come back, Crypto. She didn't mean it. She didn't mean it. You're a good boy.
Where do you think Supergirl? I mean, where do you think Crypto goes when he's like, I wanted to hang out with Supergirl, but maybe I don't want to go hang out with Superman. But Supergirl is not an option anymore, and I don't know where Superman is. Like, where does Crypto go if he's not hanging out with them?
I don't know. Maybe he goes to hang out with like Streaky the Super Cat somewhere.
I would hope so.
He's just like, Streaky, what up?
The humans or the alien Kryptonians, they're not acting right now.
Who is our favorite from the Super Pets movie?
Oh, Lulu?
Lulu. Maybe he goes to hang out with Lulu.
I would love that.
Maybe he goes to visit her in jail like Hannibal Lecter. That's how he figures out what he's gonna do. He's like, Lulu, and she like turns around and she's like, oh, do you hear them? The lambs are screaming. And then there's actually like in one jail cell over is a lamb that's screaming.
Yeah, like literally. And it's not over like something scary. It's like something something funny for why the lamb is screaming. I don't know why the lamb is screaming, but yeah, I think that would be really fun. Yeah, I guess Crypto just he when he can't deal with Cal and Kara, maybe he goes to his animal friends.
That's
and
possible.
seeks
Stanley
solace.
says maybe he goes to visit Power Girl.
Power Girl might be more chill and more normal. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I don't think that maybe Power Girl doesn't have all this going on. You
Yeah,
know,
not a lot of drama with Power Girl.
maybe
Power
Crypto
Girl
goes
is
to hang out with
usually
Comet.
Power Girl is usually the one when something crazy goes on with Supergirl. Power Girl kind of steps in to help. So I feel like Power Girl is like the chiller one of the two between Power Girl and Supergirl. So I would think that Crypto's like maybe Power Girl's got
Maybe
less
Power Girl.
drama in her life.
Maybe Power Girl just wants to like Netflix and give me snacks.
I think that would be a great comic book story. I would.
Where
read
does Crypto go?
it. What does he do when he's just over the House of Hope?
That's it. I cannot take these people's drama. Boundaries. This is my
So
year. Crypto's
stressful. Yeah, so we'll have to see if we find out where Crypto goes off to, because he has now left the canvas of the story. We don't know where he went.
We hope he comes back.
Hopefully he will come back. Now, Morgan, I did want to talk about some art in this issue, but I feel like it may be best to discuss this under a boardroom or ballroom
Ooh.
segment. So we'll talk about this in a costume conversation, I guess.
And now, Lena Luthor, boardroom or ballroom?
Okay, I know we've talked about the famous Margaret Supergirl costume before.
One of the best.
Iconic, really.
Iconic.
Doesn't
Defying the laws of gravity. much like Wicked, it is defying gravity.
I thought Wonder Woman's costume in this issue was very akin to Margaret's.
Yeah.
Especially in this panel.
Yeah, that's true. Her back is so low, it is unbelievably ridiculous. You're like, oh, she doesn't even have clothes on back there. No. It's just a low back, but like so low, why even have a back?
How does it stay up is my question.
Not helpful at all.
I don't understand how this suit works.
It doesn't have any straps. It doesn't go around the neck in any way. I don't understand how it stays up, especially during a fight. Like I know that we're in the superhero realm and we're just like there's a certain suspension of disbelief. We love Margaret, but I'm just saying in real life there's no way if you moved in that thing it would stay on you.
It would just fall off.
It would just disintegrate off your body.
There's no way. When I saw this panel, there's a panel with Wonder Woman where it's just her bare back, and I was like, "What is this? I don't understand how this works."
Because if you see another the panel on the page prior when they're looking up at the Lexo suits, you can see how far down, how like low that back is. It's like, why even have one?
I think I can present it for the live stream. Let's see.
Nice.
Let's see. Where is that thing? Is it this one? This is kind of
that wasn't the one I was thinking of, but yes, this one also is basically the exact same proportions where it's so far down her back. It's like how how is that staying on her body? Is it a jumpsuit? But still, it doesn't make sense. Even if everything's connected, I don't think that stays on.
I just don't understand it. And maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe it's comic book logic. Maybe it's an Amazonian thing. Maybe it's like an Amazon thing.
It's Amazon technology. It's not for us to know. This is an ancient knowledge passed down from in Themyscira. It's like, yes, the back is going to be low, and it's going to be kind of a tube top. It'll work though. Magic.
Yeah, it was very strange to me. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Rachel said it needs at least 1 or 2 straps, Diana. And I agree. It needs at least 1 or 2 straps.
Do you think it needs straps over the shoulders or like around the back?
I would probably do around the neck. I feel like that's going to give you like the support that you need. Thinking too much about that. Like if you wore that as a swimsuit, that would be the most dangerous swimsuit you could bring to any occasion.
You're losing that in the water. I'm sorry.
You cannot go on a slide in that.
You're not coming back up out of that water.
Well, you are, but the swimsuit's not coming with you.
Oh man, I know this is a lot to ask, but at some point I would like comic book artists to draw things that make sense according to like the human body.
We're trying to go for like not Margaret rules here.
Margaret was just like thinking outside the box. They were like, "Hey, submit some costume designs," and she was like, "I'm going to do one nobody's going to think of."
What if logic wasn't a constraint? And it's such a weird thing to do to the Wonder Woman outfit too, because like you don't need it really. Like it could just be like she could just have a little bit of a back.
Yeah.
And it would change nothing. Like you can just give her a back.
I am now going to have to go back and look at Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
I know. I was like, huh, were we doing that on the big screen?
Because I know she had, like, at some points, she would have the sword, like, stuffed in the back of her suit. So there was something back there that she could put the sword in.
Yeah.
So in real life, there would be something that, would be at her back. So I don't think you could put this version of the Wonder Woman suit on the big screen and make
it would. I don't think it would really work. I'm trying to find very specific images of like Gal Gadot Wonder Woman outfit back. And it's a very specific search. I'm seeing some stuff that's like not quite from the movie. I guess we didn't see much of. I guess they didn't really like have many stills of her back.
I'll have to see if I can go back through that.
I mean, there had to be. I mean, Gal Gadot is subject to gravity and logic, unlike comic books. So there had to be something back there. And she puts her sword back there. So like, it had to have a sword holder.
Yeah, there was
a sword holder on that thing.
there was something back there. Yeah, this costume. I just wanted to like see if it was just me or if it was something that anybody else had picked up about this issue, because it was very noticeable to me.
I was like, how's this thing work? I don't I don't really understand.
All right. Well, are there any other costume or clothing items that we need to talk about in this issue before we get out of boardroom or ballroom?
I think just the maybe the upgrade to Supergirl's infected outfit. Not too different than her normal infected outfit. It looks like the biggest thing that happened is that her spikes get bigger, which I think is funny that they have an entire panel showing the spikes getting bigger. Like, what was I supposed to take from that? But cool. And then it looks like her skirt is maybe either more tattered or is a little bit longer somehow, but a little bit more tattered. I don't know how that really works, but sure.
I think we should also point out that the Supergirl who laughs bare shoulders.
Oh, that's right.
Her shoulders
that's right. She's coming into her full power. If the clavicles are out, it'd be game over for Wonder Woman. We know this.
So this is, if I was writing this story and I had Supergirl's spikes grow bigger, I would have someone get like thrust up against the spikes and like get killed. Because like
Yes.
why else would you have like spiky things on her suit and then nothing happened with the spikes? I feel like it's like a Chekhov's gun situation. If you're going to have those spiky things get spikier, there's got to be a reason for it. So what if she
Especially to have like a whole panel like zoom in on the spikes as they get bigger. It's like, what is that supposed to be telling me?
I mean,
exactly.
if she tussles, now maybe not with Wonder Woman, but if she tussles with someone and fights them and they accidentally come into contact with her spiky things on her suit.
What if that infected them?
See, there's got to be a reason for it.
That would be cool. That would then explain why the spikes were important in any way.
Yeah.
As it is, I think it's just like, uh-oh, she's getting scarier. The spikes are getting pointier. It's like, okay. They're just a little scarier. She's just a little bit more hardcore.
I also want to see what she does with the longer fingernails.
Yeah.
How do
maybe
those
she
come
can
into
infect
play?
people with those.
Ooh.
Let's see how her hand acting is in the next issue.
I mean, that could be good.
We're big fans. We're usually big fans.
So I do think that if you're going to do that kind of thing in the comic, I feel like it should come into play at some point. But I guess that will take us out of boardroom or ballroom. And this has been
Lena Luthor, boardroom or ballroom.
And before we stop talking about the issue, were there any art panels aside from the Wonder Woman costume that was very questionable about how it operated? Were there any other panels or pages in the issue that got your attention?
There is one panel that made me laugh really hard. I don't think it was supposed to, but maybe it was. It's right after she's there. Her and Diana are fighting the Lexo suits, and she hears the people trapped in the barn, and she makes this really funny face, like, ugh, these people. And it's I don't know why. I actually just laughed. I was like, what is this? And it's really hard to describe. So I'm instead just going to share my screen so we can see in all the glory. They always do this. They always change the panel I'm looking at. So so they make a liar out of me every single time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
This is the panel that I was thinking of. She's like rolling her eyes. Her makeup looks especially crazy. She looks like she's got like weird pointy elf ears. I don't know where those came from. I just don't know what's going on here, but it did make me laugh. So I'm gonna have a special shout out to this panel.
She looks really put out.
She does.
She still seems to go and have fun. She still seems to enjoy rescuing the people.
She's like, oh, gotta go save those people. Tee-hee.
You will go a couple of another page over. There is another panel where it's a close up of her face, but she looks happy about it, like laughing or at the bottom. Yeah, that one.
This was also a runner up for favorite panel. Because she's like, I'm gonna save you guys. I love this. She's just like trying to be evil, but she's also like, isn't it great to save people? It's evil, right? I'm being good at being evil, right? It's very funny. She looks unhinged, but in like a very kind of a cute way where she's just like, this is the best.
Yeah, so she does have a lot of good emotional facial expressions.
She
in
does.
this issue,
Which is pretty great.
Which I thought was good. But yeah, I think a lot of these panels with the fighting were drawn pretty well. For the most part, I could kind of follow the action. I was a little confused about how she became the Joker who laughs. I suppose we sort of worked it out that maybe it was like the extra kryptonite radiation that got to her. But I thought a lot of these panels were very interesting. There's a page, it's page 9 of mine, But there is one where the composition is really cool, and I will share that as well, so I can share it with the class.
Is that her fight with Wonder Woman? Yeah, I was thinking of that one too.
Yeah, I can't make it go full screen, but it has
Of course not.
it has 4 almost triangle panels, and then there's a circle one in the middle, which I thought was kind of a neat layout as to how to show the different aspects of the fight, and then show kind of a really good shot of the two of them really literally coming to blows there in the middle. So I really liked the composition of that page.
Yeah, I like that one too. I liked the way that they did the layout of the fight, because sometimes you get into like these fights, these comic book fights, and they can feel like a little bit like, okay, like it can feel a little bit like it gets a little samey. So I like when they like play with the panels and the proportions and things like that to give some visual interest to the fight, so that you can like stay engaged.
Yeah, I think it's a nice creative choice to scare. I saw scare in the chat, and that's what made me say it. It's a nice way to change it up and mix things up. So Morgan, what did you think about this issue? Are you anticipating that we will get to see a resolution to the joke, the Supergirl who laughs?
We better. It does say finale last time in the next issue. I did spoil myself on that, so I feel hopeful that we will get a resolution to at least Supergirl's story. I guess we'll never know maybe what's going on with everybody else, but Supergirl, I think we'll get. This whole story arc, it's been fine, but not my favorite. I feel like it's sort of missing the emotional tie-in of like what her being evil really means, and I don't know that we'll have enough of a runway with like maybe only one more issue in this arc to like really get into that. I mean, it's always fun to see the characters be bad, and I think it is a very funny twist that she's bad, but she's can't actually be that bad. She's like, I am going to do, here's my evil plot, but like, you guys have to like me. Like, why isn't my hope speech working?
And it's really fun to save people.
So fun to save people. I'm getting like such a high from it. So I do think I do like that aspect of it, but it kind of came out of nowhere. It didn't feel like it had a lot of buildup, probably because it's, it bled over from some other like group or like, a DC line story, and wasn't like, organic to the Supergirl story, which I always kind of, don't love. But I think overall it's been pretty fun. I can't nitpick too much, I guess, with it. Like, some of the stuff doesn't make sense, but I'm just kind of along for the ride. This one wasn't like particularly my favorite issue, but it also wasn't too bad. Like, move the story along, and now I guess we're getting like a more evil version of her, which we'll see how that goes. But I did like the sort of interlude where she saves everybody, but evilly, but she saves them.
Yeah, I think these issues, they are moving the story a little bit, but I feel like it's almost the same thing happening every issue, where it's us seeing this infected Supergirl in some sort of situation where she's almost doing the same thing over and over again. So I wish, even though it's moving the plot just barely, I wish it would take bigger steps to get to the next thing, because I'm getting a little tired of infected Supergirl. But now I guess I'm going to retract my statement. It did make a pretty giant leap forward, in that I think it eventually got infected Supergirl to the Supergirl who laughs, which feels like a next big step in whatever this story is going to be. But it just feels like it's like, how is that going to be more severe than what she's already been doing? And how is that going to get resolved? Those are my questions by the end of this, because it just seems like it has not really gone enough to get me to that next place.
I would agree with the same sort of the sameness of the last few issues, where it's like Supergirl does something sort of evil, but not that evil, and somebody confronts her about it, and she's like, "Well, that's not nice," and then kind of wash, repeat. So yeah, that's sort of my critique too. Is like I feel like we're not really getting anything all that new or interesting at this point in this sort of evil Supergirl run. I saw a comment from Rachel that I thought was interesting. She said, "Why isn't Wonder Woman also helping Donna Troy? Feels weird that she'd try to bring Supergirl back to the good side, but ignore her own sidekick."
That's a great point because Donna Troy is part of the Secret Six with the commissioner.
Ooh,
The evil,
the scariest
infected
one.
the commissioner. That's a great point. Maybe she's already tried. I don't know. We haven't gone back into those other titles that we were supposed to with the editor's notes. Maybe
We didn't follow all the editor's notes, so maybe we just missed it. Maybe she's been helping the whole time.
But that is a great point.
Mind the Gap also says, for context, I think Woman of Tomorrow comes out like a year after this series ends, the complete opposite of this story. Yeah, I mean, the difference in terms of how much I've enjoyed it is probably pretty stark.
And I think we have always said that it's better to have a story that has an endpoint in mind, that it has a set number of issues. Woman of Tomorrow is so great because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it has a goal and it gets to it by the end of it. It's a complete story and it's a focus on Supergirl. You don't have any of this other nonsense that's coming into it. So I would say it's almost completely the opposite of this in terms of the structure and the storytelling methods and what it's hoping to achieve. This feels like a Supergirl title that's just sort of spinning its wheels.
Yeah, I think that there's like can be a big difference in quality between like an ongoing that has to adapt to what the overall DC line is doing at any one time, which could be something great or something ridiculous. And, you don't know the note that you're going to get is like, we're rebooting the universe or death metal's cool, right? And I do feel badly for the people who, work on these titles where they're just trying to tell good stories within that framework. And they're like, I guess she's got to be a KISS sort of member now. That's cool. And something like what Tom King got to do, which is tell a mini series essentially with a beginning, middle, and end, and tell sort of a complete story and have a character journey and know where everything was going the whole way, and not halfway through get a note from DC that's like, they're all KISS now. Like it's tough, man. Like, corporate constraints. So I think that, it is kind of unfair to put Rebirth against Woman of Tomorrow for a lot of reasons. But especially because I think they went in, he pitched the story. I want to tell an 8-issue story. I want to tell this whole saga, and they gave him the go ahead, and he got to do exactly that. Whereas like these ongoings like Supergirl Rebirth, ended up, as we saw, as we covered the whole thing, the story was all over the place. You're here, you're there, you're in space, you're out of space. Now she's infected. Now she's not infected. It's a lot harder to tell a coherent story with like character arcs and like thematic themes that you can pull through, especially when writers and editors and artists come and go on the book too. So I think when we started it was Steve Orlando. At this point, It looks like it's Jody Hauser now, and like it's tough. Yeah, it's hard to compare those apples to apples, but when you think about Woman of Tomorrow, it doesn't do the Rebirth any favors.
No. Being unconstrained by all of that other background noise of what you have to do. Tom King was like, this is what I want to do. And that is a very different creative situation. So I would say that I have some grace because I know that sometimes is not an option for these storytellers in the comic book industry.
And I would hope that Woman of Tomorrow was so well regarded and popular and like hopefully sold very well, is obviously inspiring a spin-off movie, that maybe DC will consider doing more of like the titles like this where it does have sort of an open and shut it has a certain amount of issues, you know that going in. I know that they do this from time to time, but like maybe they'll, let the creator kind of come with their idea and like not futz with it so much. I think that would be better for the readers and for the creators who come in and like, just want to tell a story and not get diverged by some DC event that's happening in the middle.
I would buy more comics if that was the case.
Me too. I like a closed system because I find comics, as we joke about the editor's notes, I find the thing where it's like I have to jump to this and read this for the background and read that for the background. I find it exhausting. At some point, I just kind of check out. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. It's really not worth all this. But like, I can suggest to anybody that they pick up Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and I know that they're going to have a good experience beginning to end, because it is one story. And I think, if they maybe focused on doing a couple more things like that, it would be better for entry level people who are just starting to get into comics, who, if you drop them into the middle of Rebirth with all of its notes, might feel overwhelmed and dip out again. Like, let's start some more limited series that people can just kind of pick up and know that they're going to get to an end, and it's going to end at some point.
I would love it if all Supergirl titles were like Woman of Tomorrow.
That would be great.
If you're going to bring her back in and have a title, just have a self-contained story. I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, you decide how many is going to be going in, and then you can tell the story that you want to tell, and then somebody else can pick it up and tell a different story.
I would be about that. Well, we'll see what happens at the end of this run. We're getting close to the end. I can feel it. I feel like it is going somewhere. We're going to get that answer to Leviathan and what's going on.
We're going to know everything about Leviathan.
All of our questions will be answered by the end of this.
Rachel actually has a question that I don't know that we have discussed the answer to quite yet. She wants to know, after this run, are you going to do one of the older runs next?
This is my pitch. Morgan, you can veto it if you would like. I would recommend that we go through the Peter David run, because if we want to tie something into the Woman of Tomorrow movie, which is coming out in 2026, which
that's true,
is coming up, a year and a half, maybe
around
probably.
the corner.
Yeah, like June 26, 2026. So that's like a year and a half. The Peter David run is pretty extensive. And so it may take us a while to do. And I would recommend that we do that because Woman of Tomorrow borrowed some things from the Peter David run that you might have more contextual appreciation for if we actually went through it. And it's a pretty enjoyable storyline that has some wacky elements to it that would be fun to discuss. So that would be my recommendation. Although there are lots of comic book stories that we could go through, the 70s and 80s, which is kind of one of my favorite eras of Supergirl comics, to be honest. I really enjoy the 70s and 80s because Supergirl sort of comes into her own. She's not in the Silver Age anymore, where she's at the Midvale orphanage and is Superman's secret weapon. She becomes her own woman. She goes to college. She becomes a soap opera actress. She does all of these things. And so I love the 70s and 80s era of Supergirl. We could go through some of the like the death of Superman stuff with the Matrix character, the Matrix Supergirl. There's lots of options to go through with Supergirl. But my recommendation would be to do the Peter David run as a lead up to Woman of Tomorrow.
Well, that'd be great for me because we've talked about this before in the past, and I might have bought the first trade in physical form. So it's somewhere in my room. Where that'll be fun. That could be a fun part of it. Discovering where I put it. Because I did this a while back because we were talking about doing it. And I was like, let me be prepared ahead of time and like already have it. And then of course I've lost it somewhere in the depths.
Somewhere.
Like in a book pile somewhere. But anyway, I'm ready in theory whenever we're gonna do that.
Yeah. So whenever we get to the end, let's have that conversation and figure out where we want to go next. because we do have a lot of Supergirl comics to cover. New Rachel does say that she is putting in her vote for the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl, which would have been in the 80s. That's where Psy is created. Supergirl,
my girl Psy.
Yeah, so Daring New Adventures of Supergirl is a pretty fun run of comics there that is fairly sophisticated, I would say. So that's a good era of Supergirl comics. So there's lots of good stuff to choose from. So we'll get to that New Rachel as we sort of near the end of Rebirth and as we go into the new year. Lots of options because we'll probably wrap up the Rebirth stuff, and then of course we have our annual Christmas movie that we'll have to select. I don't know what we've run out of Brandon Routh kid movies.
Oh no. Brandon, make another one. Have even more kittens this time.
I can't remember. At the end of the second movie, do they have 2 kittens, 2 cats? I forget how many
I feel like we lost Queenie. I feel like.
Oh yes, but didn't she get she got another cat though?
She did get a new cat. I can't remember what her name was, like Duchess or something.
Oh yes, I think that's what it was. Yeah. So I wonder if those 2 cats had kittens.
We just
wrote the third movie.
The Kittens of Christmas, the next generation.
And what if? So here's my pitch for the third movie in that trilogy. The cats have kittens. And then Marilee and what's his face? What was his name?
Brandon Routh.
His character's name.
I totally remember it.
I always remember Marilee.
Marilee, I remember because it's like not a name you hear all the time.
But whatever his name is, they have a baby. So it's like a parallel of like Zach. Yes, Zach and Marilee.
I had to look it up. I didn't just come up with that. I Googled.
Zach and Marilee maybe have a baby, and then the cats have babies.
Gasp. Oh my God. I want, we've established that I want it to be closer to the book, which the cat apparently narrated. And I think in your scenario, we have like a look who's talking to scenario.
I love it.
Where like the cats are trying to like adjust to new parenthood while the people are trying to adjust to new parenthood. Brilliant.
And maybe the cats are commenting on how the humans are doing it wrong.
Yes. They're like, what are you doing? You haven't even given that baby a mouse.
I think this is a great idea. I think they should make it
Hallmark, call us
just so that we can have another Brandon Routh cat movie.
We need something on that level. Maybe a sequel to Buttons.
We need a Button sequel.
Buttons 2? More Buttons.
They could raise another round of money for some charity.
I think they could. Dick Van Dyke is still around.
Can they get Jane Seymour back for 5 seconds?
I think they can.
That's also something that we need is another Katie McGrath Christmas movie.
Yes, she really needs. She's only been in the 2 that I know of. But we need a third one. We need to complete the trilogy. And then I'm going to choose to believe that they are in a trilogy with each other. A Princess for Christmas, Buttons, more Buttons.
A Princess for Christmas 2? Do we need a sequel to?
I feel like there's that one guy who tweets about it every year, every holiday year. He's not giving up. I too hold a candle for Princess for Christmas or a Christmas Castle, or it had like 12 names.
It had a couple of names. I think that's great. I love people's devotion to their favorite movies. I think that's amazing. So we'll probably do a Christmas movie of some sort. And then it also reminds me that we did get news about this maybe should be covered in a news section formally, but we have some the way home news.
Oh, that's right. We were mad about it.
So I guess we have to put this in an official news capacity because it's not really Supergirl related, but the Way Home season 3 is moving to what, Hallmark Plus or whatever it's called. So now we're gonna have to pay for the time traveling poncho.
I'm mad about it. It's eventually going to go to Hallmark, but like you're going to have to wait months and months. Can I wait until fall 2025 to know what happens with the time travel pond? The answer should be yes, but the answer is definitely no.
I hate how much I like that stupid
Me
show.
too. Me too. I was like, no, you cannot paywall my emotional support time travel pond.
So we did get some time traveling pond show news. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Is this wait?
Oh, he's looking right into the new ring light.
He's found the new ring.
He's like, can I destroy that one? Haven't you done enough, Bunsen? Bunsen, haven't you done enough? I guess he decided he did. He's ducking his head in shame.
That is so funny. Well, so yeah, we'll keep everybody posted about our plans for the upcoming year. So we'll finish this run. We'll do a Christmas movie of some sort, and then January 2025, perhaps we will start with something new. So that should be very exciting. So stay with us, and we'll get to that when we get to it. So I guess that's going to wrap up our thoughts on Supergirl number 39. If you haven't bought it yet, this issue is available in the DC Comics app at Comixology, Google Play, and readdcentertainment.com. You can also buy the trade if you don't need editor's notes. So you can do it that way. You can also probably find these issues in your local comic book shop. So support your local comic book shop if you've got one. And so if you would want to also contact Supergirl Radio, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on X and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. If you like what we do, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts and anywhere you have podcast ratings. Supergirl Radio is part of the DC TV Podcast and Multiverse of Color Network, so go check those out. And we go live and wired on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel, so come and hang out with us as we do this. DC TV Podcast also has a TeePublic store, so if you are in need of some new DC or DC TV related t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, magnets, tote bags, pins, phone cases, pillows, stickers, and now hats, go to supergirlradio.com and click on the TeePublic store link at the top of the page.
And since Supergirl number 39 featured Wonder Woman fighting Supergirl, we have some Wonder Woman related designs in the DC TV Podcast TeePublic store that we'd like to suggest.
And I made a graphic for it, and then I didn't upload it to the StreamYard, so I'm gonna do that right now.
That happens sometimes.
Right,
Bunsen?
I had one created.
Bunsen hasn't left, by the way. Bunsen is still here.
What is he doing? Is
he's
just hanging out
sitting?
with...
He's, as you can see, he's just literally sitting on my desk. He's getting his pets in. He's decided that that's what he deserves. He broke my ring light, but he still thinks that he deserves lots of pets.
he didn't apologize for
he
breaking
didn't
the ring
apologize, not even once.
He feels no guilt,
no shame,
no shame for that. So he is just going to go back to his usual ways so that he can just do whatever he's been doing because it's been working out for him.
It has been working out for him. And I think what he's really doing is maybe basking in the light from the ring light right now. I'm starting to kind of realize that might be what he's like. Like
can you give him his own ring light?
I might have to. Maybe that'll be a Christmas present for Bunsen. He gets his own ring light. Wouldn't that be great, little buddy? He didn't answer me, but he was like, you don't have to stop petting.
Well, we do have some Wonder Woman designs in the TeePublic store.
Amazon.
I do like the Amazon design because it's like
there's
the Amazon.
Layers.
There is depth. It's like the Amazon logo, but it's Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman is an Amazon. So perfect design choice there. We also have, you can get a tote bag with Wonder Woman's shield and lasso of truth on there if you want to. So we've got some great designs in the DC TV podcast T Public Store. If you are needing to get something for your family, friends, or maybe for yourself for the holidays, I think that would be a great thing to do. So we have lots of stuff to choose from in the T Public Store. If you would like to join us as a Legion of Super Sponsor, you can go to patreon.com/Supergirl Radio. And we'd like to thank our Legion of Super Sponsors for supporting us. Those people are Michael, Anne Marie, Yvonne, Nicola, Abby, Miriam, Nicole, Brian, Ethan, Danny, Majuba, Zachary, Annie, and Rachel. So thank you all for supporting the Supergirl Radio Patreon, which we recorded a little Patreon exclusive about Morgan and Mike's most recent trip to Disney World, getting to meet Figment. And also we gave Disney a lot of free ideas about what they can do.
They've been doing a lot of animation to live action. We think that's a mistake. We think they should go the other way around, live action to animation.
It opens so many more creative doors.
It does.
Some doors that I think would be big hits if you opened them up.
We had, I think, some just bangers. I think make billions of dollars for them.
So we will be posting that this week, but hopefully tomorrow, maybe Thursday, maybe for Thanksgiving, I'll get that posted to the Supergirl Radio Patreon.
You should listen to it for Thanksgiving, and then it'll give you something great to mention at the table with your families and your friends. You can be like, hey, if you were going to make one Disney live action movie into an animated movie, what would it be? The lively discussion at the table.
Let me know if the answer is the Black Cauldron. I would love to know if that is your but that I guess would be animation to live action. You could go that way, like lesser known Disney animation to live action, or Disney live action to animation.
The lesser known Disney live action to animation, animation to live action actually makes sense to me. It's like, okay, this didn't do so great as an animated film, but what if the Black Cauldron really slaps as a live action? I don't know. It could.
You don't know until you try.
Give it a shot. Like all they're remaking is their most popular animated ones. It's like, I don't think we need another one of those.
And also, you're making them worse.
Yeah. Redo the flops, Disney.
So we talk about that strategy on the Supergirl Radio Patreon exclusive that will get posted for this week. So definitely keep your eyes out on that. If you would like to check me out on the internet, you can find me on the social media platform Vero at Derby Kid, where you can find out what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, what I'm reading, if I'm actually getting a chance to read something. You can find me on Instagram at the Derby Kid, where I like to share a lot of funny things that make me laugh. And then I also have a personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/duckmilkprod, where you can find some things there if you're interested in the DCEU or Zack Snyder films, or just film analysis in general. I also have a travel blog that I do with my brother called Oasis Broom, which you can find us on social media as well as YouTube. And I'm hoping to get back to that towards the holidays, because we'll be taking a trip. So we'll be doing some of that as well. So that's where you can check me out.
Nice. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mojotastic. And you could also find me as a co-host on the Legendary Ladies podcast, where I think we might be taking this week off for Thanksgiving. I'm not 100% sure. But our last episode, where Bunsen did mid-episode destroy my ring light. If you want to see that happen in real time, you can check out the Legendary Ladies on YouTube. Our episode on the movie My Old Ass, which is on Amazon Prime. We just discussed that, and that is where the scene of the crime happened, and Bunsen destroyed my old ring light.
That's exciting. I'm so pumped.
I mean, action and adventure in that episode.
It's a live recording.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen on a live recording, on a live stream. So that is so exciting. So looking forward to that. You all always do a good job of breaking down a movie or a TV show. So that is fun to go and check out. So everybody check out the legendary ladies. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon. And thanks for joining us as we catch up on Supergirl comics.
McGurk! I love
Not
typing.
mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because her outfit.
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Okay, I think we're still streaming because it won't stop. Interesting. So this is weird.
fun.
So I see what's so this is like not a normal thing. We're still streaming, I think, because
Hello, everyone. Still.
so you remember how I put in an intro and an outro video?
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna play if I select the outro video and put it in there, it's going to do it as when I hit in stream. That's when the outro video I don't like this. This is stupid. I don't
That
like
doesn't
this.
seem like an improvement on the old system.
StreamYard is going to hear from me about this.
StreamYard will hear from my lawyers.
We tried this and I don't like the way this is doing this.
It's not how I like it. How dare you?
So I'm removing these so that we can end the stream when we want to end the stream.
It's our destiny is in our own hands.
Yes. Okay, so we are officially ending the stream and not when StreamYard tells us to do it. We're doing it on our own time now. So hope everybody has a great week and we'll see you in the next episode.
Happy Thanksgiving.